Real People, Real Matters with Diana Tulchinsky. This is my first guest, Sarah Berto. Please tell me, Sarah, about your birth city in Durban, South Africa.
Well, I was born in Durban, South Africa, and I lived there 36 years till we came out here, but I love Durban because it's got beautiful scenery near the beach, and I spent a lot of time outside. Love being outside because it's good for one's health.
Yes, yes. Who was it founded by? Like, tell me the original history of the seaport.
Oh, Durban was founded by Benjamin Britten, who was somebody who came over from England with the settlers when they arrived in England, from England in South Africa. And he developed the port there. And I'm glad he had, because it's really beautiful.
Tell me, is your mother living in Durban? How old is she?
My mother's 96 now.
Wow.
She went from England over to Durban when she got married to my dad. She was close to 40 when she went. And she is still living there. She's the only survivor. Nice. I have one brother, and I'm sad. I miss them, but I have a wonderful home here too.
When did you start teaching, or in the South Africa region, or?
I have been teaching for 27 years. I started when I came out of college. I went to Edgewood Teachers Training College and went straight into preschool, and then I went to first and second grade, taught third grade, and that was for about 7 years at a preschool and 5 years at a private school.
With your background, did you go to private, did you have a private elementary education in your earlier life, or?
Well, the education I had for teaching was for anybody, and I went to a private school myself. Yes. Actually, the same school that I taught at later, I went to.
Oh, that's nice, that's nice, that's nice. Tell me, how did you meet your husband?
He was a blind date.
Ah, that's nice.
A friend of mine from college, as we were traveling up to school, said to me one day, I have a date, well, I would like you to come on this date with my boyfriend and I. And I said, oh, I don't have anyone to, I have the perfect man for you. But it took him about 5 years to ask me to marry him.
Oh, so, that was nice, that's nice. So tell me, how did you get into manners? Or what's the importance of teaching manners for young kids anywhere around the world?
I think manners are very, very important. I was brought up with them, and I think it gave me the confidence in myself because I know how to behave wherever I go. And I feel that in today's day and age, with technology the way it is, people are drawing away from focusing on manners. And I think it's very important bringing one's children up with them so that they have the self-confidence when they go out into the world, they'll be able to do anything.
Tell me about self-esteem or confidence after Mr. and Mrs. C, when a child graduates from your program. What benefits does he have psychologically or physically, grooming and the rewards?
I begin my classes from age 3 all the way through 13 at school, and I'm branching out to do high school. But starting with manners at an early age is so important, so that the children learn it as they are having fun.
Yes, yes.
And that's why I started a tea party with the children. They come in and get dressed up in their boas and their ties and their hats, and they sit around the table and learn how to pass things around, thinking of the other person before themselves, eye contact, giving them the sense of being confident in themselves and feeling good about how they look and how they feel. And that's how they start at 3, and then it branches up to the older children. Of course, I don't do teas with the older ones, I do dining.
Oh. Do you bake with the younger ones, or do you prepare the baking and then they serve their parents?
It depends. It depends what the parents want. Or the school wants. I go to the school, and if I have a 2-hour time to teach them, then we'll do the first hour with baking. And they love to bake their own things. Excuse me. They love to bake, and then actually enjoy having tea with their friends with what they have made themselves. And I believe tremendously in having things made from scratch, because there are no preservatives.
Nice.
So if a parent or a teacher wants me to come in just for an hour, then we won't bake. I will bake myself and take it in. And because I know the etiquette is something that I really want them to learn.
Do you think that preschoolers build social skills, like interacting with people, or break the shell they have with their parents and the caregivers and come out of their personality, or?
Definitely, definitely. They need to spend as much time as possible playing and learning through example that their teacher may set or from their own mistakes. I mean, everyone's going to make mistakes, and I think learning through your mistakes is a huge asset to have, and if they can learn it when they're young.
Yes.
And thinking about mistakes, if they're at the tea table and the tea spills or somebody does something like,
yes.
Not to get anxious. It's all right, you made a mistake, it's fine. We forgive each other, and thinking about the other person and helping them and to stay calm. In fact, I was thinking tea with Mr. and Mrs. C is not just courtesy, it's also keeping calm.
Oh, yes. It's nice. Tell me about like the graduating program with Serving with a Smile.
Serving with a Smile is what I do with the 10 and 11-year-olds when they learn how to serve people. They're obviously learning that same thing about eye contact and listening and paying attention to other people. But when they serve, they are making sure that they are not talking, that they learn the listening aspects as well, and that they're serving grace, not whipping it away, just waiting, taking time, which once again technology doesn't encourage us to do because everything is done immediately. So in this respect, they are learning how to take their time and enjoy the other person's company, serving them first, and having a smile, because when you have a smile,
the visual.
Yes, the visual, exactly. Yes. And it's not just the smile for the other person, it's for you too, because that gives you the confidence, because it brings happiness to you. As soon as you think of something that's happy, you smile. Or if you think of something sad and you smile, it will take that sadness away.
What is the black ties and white gloves, or black ties and white gloves about?
That is for the 12 and 13-year-olds. When they have learned how to serve with a smile, they graduate to doing black tie, white gloves, because they have passed that stage of serving others without sitting down at the dining table, and serving others at the dining table, not just going around and serving at a cocktail party, but they learn how to use the implements, the cutlery and crockery that are all set out on the table. They'll learn how to use those in different ways for each part of the course that comes through, and learn how to make that course, actually.
Oh, so do you teach the setting of where the fork, the dinner fork, the dessert fork, and dessert, like how to eat inside out? That's
exactly,
nice.
Exactly,
That's
and which
nice.
Glasses to use, and not where to put the cup. I mean the cup and saucer. Where to put the utensils after you've finished, and how to put the napkin on your lap. When to do all this stuff, because there's definitely an order.
Oh, yes.
Of that.
Yes. And what type of rewards do they get from the preschool, like certificates, tiara? What type of rewards do they get from you, or after the achievement?
At the beginning with tea with Mr. and Mrs. C, they can choose a cup and saucer to take home as a memory. And then the Serving with a Smile get an apron and service gloves. And white gloves, black tie. The girls get white gloves, fancy white gloves, and the boys get a black tie. And if they do it twice, the second time round, the girls get a tiara and the boys get cufflinks.
Oh, that's nice. That's really nice.
So they feel special.
Yes, yes. And what about, like, do you have your services where you teach parents or even job interviewers, or?
Oh yes, definitely. I actually teach the white gloves, black tie, how to dress. I also do that a little bit with the Serving with a Smile children, who know where they're going, how to dress for that particular occasion, how to stand, how to walk, how to to hold themselves, because this is all in the matter of becoming a habit. And if you have that habit with you, it will go with you to interviews, how to dress for an interview, and how to speak at an interview, you know, eye contact and answering questions and all that. But it doesn't just stop at 13.
No.
I branch out to the high school, and I do the same black tie, white gloves with the high school, and I also do it with families.
Do you like go to the client's comfort zone, like in their home, and then set up the arrangement there, or set up the party there, or?
Yes, yes, I do. I like going to people's homes because they feel comfortable there. You know, they can feel that they don't have to worry about where they are and what they should be doing or using. But if I go to their home, then they have all the facility that they're used to. I'll teach them, if the parents want me to, if the family wants me to, teach them how to host, how to have people come into their home and take their coats from them, and how to usher them to a different part of the room, how to serve, going back to serving with a smile, and also at the dinner table, how to lay the dinner table at their own home, because I know they feel comfortable there.
Please tell me, do you think Americans are too liberal, like with their foundations they set with children, and how important it is to bond with kids outside the social media we have?
When you say Americans, I think it's actually worldwide. Because, as I said earlier, I love technology. I think technology is amazing because it takes us to places that we wouldn't ever have thought of before. But at the same time, it takes us away from the skill of being able to communicate with others, and having that brought into what the children do is so important. You know, I feel that it's very good to teach them manners so that they don't, that they have the confidence in themselves, and then to give to other people as well.
They bond within the family network or the nuclear family.
Yes, and it's not just in America, it's all over the world.
Yes. What is like the term reach for the stars? Have you had success stories, very happy success stories?
Absolutely, I have indeed. I've actually had a few alumni at the school that I taught at before come to me and say, I'm so glad you taught me how to sit at the table, because I am reaching for the stars. As I always like to tell them, it's no good reaching for the moon, because you know, you want to go further than that. And the stars meaning you want to be successful as you want to feel. And if you know the ground rules and you know how to behave, you can do anything and reach for those stars. You can become whatever you would like in the whole world.
How did you like teaching in the Glenview school systems?
I loved teaching. I really enjoyed teaching, but it came to a point that I thought, I would like to take what I brought into the classroom beyond the books.
Yes.
And the children had a lot of fun with books and things, but I thought, you know, I've got to teach these children a little bit of manners. And that's where I started my Tea with Mr. and Mrs. C. And I was just teaching my children.
Yes.
And then I taught the rest of the school with the after-school things. I thought, wow, this is keeping in one school. I think I'd like to broaden everything. So I stopped teaching and I went out and I joined the Glenview Women's Club.
Yes.
Because I want to give back to society, and I think that by having my own business and being able to give back to a broader society, not just my school, I think I'm doing everybody more of a favor than I hoped. You know, I'll go out and teach as many people as I can, reach for the stars. That's what I'm trying to do, by getting other people to know that manners are very important.
Do you qualify as a promotional officer for the Glenview Women's Board?
I will do whatever they would like me to, and that is, I've only joined last September, so I'm really new on board. And I want to go out and promote to people what I want to give them, as well as volunteering with my tea for Mr. and Mrs. C or my dining, and I've actually given away
Your raffle, tell me more.
a couple of raffles, and that way the the adults in the Glenview Women's Club have had their families take part in these things, and it's a lot of fun, and it's my way of giving back. It's a volunteer situation, and that's how I'll spread the word.
How did you immigrate from South Africa to the United States in your 30s? Was it a big decision for you and your husband?
Yes, it was. It was. We had 2 children actually we had 1 child at the time when my husband said, I think we need to look to going overseas, because he wasn't very happy with the way South Africa was going, although a beautiful place.
Yes.
He said, you know, we've got children, we want to bring them up in a safe environment, and we think that America is amazing.
Yes.
And so I applied for a job. Well, actually, I didn't apply. I heard of a job going in America, which was a sister school to the one that I was teaching in Durban. And I was offered this. I thought, oh, I don't know if I want to go. I've had 1 child, so I want to be near my mum. So we stayed, and my husband pushed me again. And on the birth of my 2nd child, he said, I think we need to think about this some more. And I said, I'm not quite ready. So there were actually 3 occasions on the birth of my 3rd child. He said, we need to go before we get too old, because by that stage I was 35 and my husband 36, and he said, if I enter a different country older than 40, no one's going to want to employ me. So I accepted Glenview's position, and I was thrilled, because Glenview is a really lovely place to come to. I've really enjoyed being here.
Was it hard the first few years immigrating to American culture and being immigrants, obviously? And
to a certain extent, yes. I was very happy that everybody spoke my language.
Yes.
And a lot of the ways of South African living have been gained from watching television. So America is way above everybody in advertising what they like to do, and that's how I knew how to behave in America.
Yes.
And I also brought my talents and things to America, and hopefully, you know, we'll bond, and we have. I've enjoyed it.
Where's the entrepreneurship in your family, the startup, your husband, anyone? Who has that?
I have 1 brother, and he has his own business. He is an architect. He's got a very big business running in South Africa. They've been going 25 years. Elphick Proom Architects, and he's done exceptionally well. And I've been a teacher until 2 years ago, and I thought, wow, it's my turn now, and I'm going to start this, because I really have this boiling within me to come out and show others. So yes, besides my brother, my father-in-law did start his own business when he went back from South Africa to Italy. And so it's not in my blood, but it's in our family. My daughter's also got her own business.
Tell me about your daughter.
She's just started about a year and a half ago. They've gone in a startup, and it's pretty hard going. I'm very lucky that I can depend on the rest of my family, but she's young, and she needs to branch herself out in an entrepreneurial way, and she's enjoying that, but it's tough.
What year did you start Mr. and Mrs. C?
It was about 14 years ago in the classroom, when I thought these children are not listening. They're not paying attention, and they're not helping each other. They need to take time to listen and to pay attention. So that's why I started. I thought the best, actually, I went on a course because I was feeling that, and it was right in the middle of my teaching. I went on what would they call it? Not internship. I went on a course that everybody goes on as teachers, and I went to one particularly over having children connect with each other, and one of them was with tea, and that inspired me. It wasn't just my mother inspiring me with her tea, being English. It was also this lady, American lady, said, we have tea every week.
Oh, that's
And
nice.
she said, I sit my children down and we have tea and I teach them all these things. And it's not so much of the manners that she teaches, but it's just having time for each other, and that inspired me to do it.
Oh, do you have any tips for parents with hyperactivity or like attention deficit disorder in the preschool years? Have you dealt with that?
Yes, definitely. Taking time with their child, just sitting down, reading with their child, going outside as much as possible, because ADHD is very rife now, especially with technology, and parents, I think, need to know that you can't sit in front of a TV.
Yes.
Don't just sit and do something while I'm busy. Parents are very busy all the time, especially nowadays, because they're trying to earn enough money to pay for all these cell phones and all the technology that we have. But yes, spending time with your child, taking a bit of time for tea and cake.
And for middle school, how do you do serving with a smile? Do you like, how do they encourage the adult years or like the awkward junior high years? Have you noticed their self-esteem or social interactions with their peers better? Or?
Yes, definitely. And as I say once more, it's the earlier you start, the better. But if you catch them at 13 where they're very awkward, even 11, 11 is when it starts, that they're feeling very awkward. Believing in themselves is exactly where my whole program begins. That's where I start off. My first lesson is to teach the children to look at themselves and think about what they like, what they are good at, and what they feel good about. And then looking at that and appreciating themselves, feeling confident in what they have to give everybody, and that in turn allows them to look at what other people have to give. Once again, it's taking time to think about what I am, who I am, how am I going to protect myself and others too, how are they going to see me, how am I going to help them see that they are excellent in what they do. So that's where it begins, believing in yourself, knowing who you are, and walking properly. We practice walking, we practice sitting, we practice getting dressed for different occasions, we play games, we do all sorts of things that allow them to come out of themselves. But theoretically, the core of the whole thing is believing in yourself, just making them know who they are. And if they're starting at 11, if they go to 3, 4, 5, 6 courses, or even carry on, practicing it at home or wherever they go, they will definitely make it a habit.
Please tell me, did you travel, or did you have any travel stories to talk about that inspired you for any of your courses, any exotic places like Australia, or do you have any family from there?
Yes, I have family in Australia, and I have traveled to Australia, but that was way back when I was 18. So I didn't look for manners and things like that, and I haven't been back to Australia since then. But I think that wherever one goes, it's important to notice how things are and be yourself. And if you're confident in yourself, then go do a good job.
Do you have any final tips for parents to develop esteem in young girls and young boys, especially in their attire and uniforms and reaching out of that look?
Yes, definitely. I think starting off with making them feel good about who they are, pulling out their strengths, talking about how, wow, you're so good at that. Please teach me how. Make them feel good about themselves. And then, how are you dressed? Do you feel good in how you're dressed? Where are you going? Keeping a vision of looking forward to where they're going, what they're doing, and how am I clothed? How am I going to appear? Eye contact, making sure you smile, and that way it will bring them the confidence that they'll spread to other people, because other people will love being around them.
Yeah. What are your endeavors for your family, for your career, and for the future?
For my family?
Yes.
I started with my family when they were little, and I have heard people say, wow, your family is so gracious, they are so full of good manners. Yes. How did you manage to do that? And I continue to do that. Even now, I've got one teenager and two children who are over 20, but they still forget, and I still remind them. And my endeavors are to keep on doing my best, because we all have to. We don't ever stop learning. All going to keep on doing our best and reach for the stars.
Sarah, please tell me, how do we contact you for services or any questions?
I have a business card and it has all the information on it with my telephone number. They can phone me at 224-456-2722 or email me at sarahberto7@gmail.com, or they can go on my website.
Yes.
And it's right here. SB stands for Sarah Berto, etiquetteforsuccess.weebly.com.
Oh, thank you, Sarah, for this informational talk. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me, Diana.
And thank you again for watching Real People, Real Matters with Diana Tulchinsky. And this was Sarah Berto's informational interview about etiquette for success.